Hey, as you can see, I'm sitting in the car. This is my reality. I brought my little one to one of her activities, so just waiting for her to get finished so that I can so that we can go. Instead of just doing nothing, decided just to share with you some of the things that you need to know. I would call it 5 things one need to know when moving to Germany. It's number one. It has to be the language. Language is very important, as everybody knows, or most people knows, that this country have its own language. Or you just have to know the language. Just for everything, you just need to know the language. And number 2, being punctual. Yeah, being punctual for someone who come from Africa. It's not so easy. Punctual is very important in Germany. Wherever you go, whether you're having an appointment with a friend, or appointment with a family, or appointment related to jobs or business, anything, punctual is important. Or to the doctor, wherever you go, being punctual is important. If you're not going to make it on time, at least call them in advance, let them know you're going to be late with few this minute or that minute, or how many minutes you're going to be late with. Or just be honest. Just by going for an appointment, you have to make sure that you get there on time. You have to check how is the traffic, or how is the bus, what the bus are you taking, what time it's going to arrive. So being on time is very, very important. I remember one time when I went to my appointment, my job agent. So my consultant was not the one I normally talk with, was not there. So I was meeting. She referred me to one of her colleagues, and I went there. Even though I arrived on time, a bit on time, maybe 5 minutes ahead, and I was in the parking trying to park to find a parking to find parkplatz. It's not so easy because the parking place was half full. So I drove around just to look for space where I can park, but I couldn't find it. So I have to drive some hours, some minutes just to look for the place. And I went and park a bit ahead from the place, and then I have to walk. And I arrived there like 6 minutes, 6 minutes late. And then she was like, you are late. I came in and said, I have an appointment. I introduced myself because I don't know her. She doesn't know me too. I said, I have an appointment. My name is Wu. I have an appointment. And she said, what time? I said, 10 o'clock. But she said, now it's a 6 minute past. And I was like, oh, okay. Sorry. I was looking for parking place, because the parking place is first. So I went to park a bit further. So I had to walk. So I was like, oh my God. So you see this kind of seriousness with the time. It's really sometimes it drives you crazy. It's so annoying because you have to run fast, and you can even jog just to get to your appointment, because being on time is really important, be it with your meeting with the friends or meeting with the family, or just to be on time. Is really, when you're going to be late, most people refer it as disrespectful. So but for someone who comes from Namibia, or Africa, for us, time is not really that important. Like they portray it, really time is very, very important. Very, very important. Regardless, that's have to be considered as respectful. Wasting someone's time, it's like, wow, it's a no-go. And number 3 is that you're gonna be lonely. You are going to be lonely, even if you're moving here as a student, or as a family reunion, or as work, or whatever. You are going to be really lonely. I'm telling you, lonely, because this is the cultural is different. It's not so easy to integrate. It's because also of the language, for sure. Not everybody knows the language, and they are not. I call the Germans grumpy. They're not really people that are easily to crack, or easily to just to know them. It's not easy to make friends, because they have this protective shell. I call it a protective shell on them. For you to crack that shell, you have to know the person very well, or to know the person very deep, and it takes time before they can be considered as a friend, or as a close friend. or they have to know you very well to trust you. But once you trust them, I'm sure I can guarantee you will have the best friend, the very, very good best friend that you can rely on. Come thunder, come rain, that will be the best person you can ever have as a friend. Yeah, it's gonna be lonely, but so for you, you have to make sure that you have a good friend. You have to find friends or family. If you don't have family, try to find acquaintance, or you can find co-workers. Otherwise, it's going to be lonely. It's not so easy here to go in a place and start a conversation with a person. For them, they will look at you like, oh. And on top of that, if you don't know the language, what are you going to say to the person? Not all of them know the language, so it's not going to be easy. I remember one time when we were in London, so we went to one of the pub close to the place where we were living, and we were sitting in the pub, and the guy was sitting next to us. So what, we just seated there, we ordered our drink. He started talking to us, and I was like, wow, that was the first time for me. And I was like, wow, these people are very friendly. He doesn't know us. He was already talking to us. This doesn't happen in Germany. It's not so common such things happen in Germany. So it's really totally different here. I think the Germans are very cold. I also remember in Portugal, Porto, we were there last year, and then we were at one of these traditional, they call it traditional restaurant, where you eat their typical food or traditional food. So we were sitting there, and then we ordered something, and after we left, we were walking, go to our apartment. We will stop by one of the coffee shops just to sit and just to relax a bit. And then one of the waiters who was working there, he passed us. And then he was saying hi or something. He was talking to our little one, and it was like, oh, who's this one? I look at him with a curious face, wondering who is this one. And then he said, remember me? You were at the restaurant where you were sitting. I'm working. And I was like, oh, so, yeah. I was like, wow, such things doesn't really happen in Germany. It's rare you find such people or such incident doesn't happen more often. And number 3, it's the weather. Oh, money, the weather. The weather is going to be one of the biggest factor for us African. If you are coming from Africa, this is going to be one of your biggest factor where you're going to say that, oh, no, let me go back, or you're going to feel really not good because we have how many months for where we have more sunshine or warmer month. I think it's only 4 months, and the rest of them are very cold and raining weather. So that weather is not really something good, because on top of that you have November, December, and January. Those are the coldest, also as well as the darkest season. So in the month, so it's not going to be easy. You're going to feel depressed if you don't have a friend, or if you don't know anybody, or even if you know anybody, how many times you're going to try to meet with this person. And on top of that is you just need people, and when the weather is not so good, and to be alone, it's really depressing. So you need to prepare yourself emotionally with that, and physically, just for you to go through winter, because winter is not so easy. The weather, it's not so easy, and really, it's now I'm talking right now is we're in spring, but this spring is still not really a spring where you say, yeah, it's spring. I'm sure this is the kind of spring they call in Namibia is winter, really, because you look at me, I still have the second jacket. I have a pullover, and it's really, it's not really the spring that one would say, yeah, it's spring. Really, this is the typical, there was a deep winter in Namibia. So the weather, it's one of the factors that one have to consider. Are you going to go through that, and your wardrobe's gonna consist of 70% of winter things and 30% of summer things, because summer is not that long and winter is the longest of them all. And number 5. So that was number 4, the weather. And number 5 is paying for your own things. So you have to pay for your own things, especially if you're being invited to, or you're going on a date with friends, or you're going on a date with, I don't know, with the colleagues or anything, or anybody. Expect to pay for your own thing. Even at the restaurant or the cafe, they'll ask you, are you paying together or are you paying separate? So that's common here. Everyone pay for their own. Everyone have to pay for their own. Even if you go if you're invited to a birthday or invited to a barbecue, they will ask you, or you're gonna ask them what I'm gonna bring, or they'll ask you, are you gonna come bring this and this and this? Everyone have to bring their own. Everyone have to bring their own. Then even if you're going with their friends, expect that you're gonna pay for your own. Even if they invite you, there's no rules like, yeah, I'm gonna go there, they're gonna pay for me. No, everyone have to pay for their own. So that also have to be expected when moving to Germany. That even if someone's gonna invite you for a date, or a possible boyfriend or wannabe, expect him to ask you to pay for your own. So prepare for that. That you have to pay. Even I know it from back there home, because with my cousin, we used to go out. We make sure that we don't say that we pay for our own, but we contribute and pay. Everyone put something so that we pay all together. We're sharing the bills, it's called. But yeah, I know back home most people don't do this. When you are invited to a party or invited to a barbecue, they don't bring anything. They expect to go there and drink. So here is totally different. You ask, or they will ask, I'm gonna come, but I'm gonna bring salad. The other one will say, I'm gonna come, but I'm gonna bring a meat. Or the other one is going to say, okay, I'm going to bring the breakfast. Or the other one going to say, oh, okay, I'm going to make the dessert, and so on. Just sharing this, sharing the cost which is, I find on the other hand, is really good, because, yeah, everyone is working. So why not sharing instead of just depending on someone, even though the person invited you? So those are some of the things that you have to consider when you are moving to Germany. So next time I'm gonna share with you how I was in a car. I was driving in a park house, and I wanted to park. I parked in a park house, and then when I was trying to correct my parking was a bit skew, and I decided, let me drive back and correct it, and then I scratched the car next to me. Believe you me, that car was a Mercedes-Benz, the latest. It was so brand new. So the way I freaked out, I will share with you on my next talking video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And for the next is this story that brought me shaking, that almost made me shake, because that was that was my first year that I got the license. My license was still on probation, so I was really scared. It was really one of the scariest.